Welcome back, guys. This is where we are. Virtual guide to Luxor Temple, Egypt 360, VR Immersive. I always put a like. Already subscribed. This is Sam Mayfair. I did some videos with him. He's right behind me. Right? He's excellent, man. I really like him. Check this out, man.
Hello and welcome to this virtual tour of Luxor Temple. If there's one place you should definitely visit when you're here, it is this place. I know I say this about most places, but this one is so significant because it literally represents almost the entirety
Dude, they was building
ancient and modern Egyptian history. It really does. So where I'm stood here is just in front of the temple itself, and then if you look opposite, you'll see the Road of Sphinx. This is a new addition, actually. Well, a new addition to us. It is an ancient, the oldest road, perhaps in Egypt, that we know of, and it runs all the way for 2.7 kilometers over to Karnak, and it was used for rituals, particular rituals where they brought down the golden boats. You can see one that's kind of there in the distance, but obviously it's an exaggerated size or much smaller, and brought down here for various festivals. Now, if we have a look at the front of the temple itself, you can see here there's 4 ginormous statues right in front of it. All 4 of them are Ramses II because the man loved himself. And then you have 2 standing. Sorry, 4 standing and 2 sitting. Those, again, represent him as a king, and the ones with him sitting as a cult leader or a god. The reason he's sitting is because that's where you go and give him offerings. So let's move into the temple and have a quick tour. Remember, guys, as always, you can pause and look around at any moment if I'm walking too fast for you. And have a look at this ginormous obelisk here.
Unbelievable, man.
Very impressive with the baboons at the bottom.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this, man.
In ancient Egypt,
people don't show you everything, man.
A symbol of wisdom, because the ancient Egyptians believed them to be extremely clever animals. So let's continue with this tour.
That's Ramses.
So continuing on from the main entrance, we come down into the columns, and this is where it starts getting interesting. This is where we start to see the cultures meeting each other that I was talking about. So as I said, pretty much every single civilization and culture in ancient Egypt and modern Egypt is met here.
I can't run, man.
If you look at this building here behind me, up until these small little windows, this used to be a church at one point. So the Christians moved in here at one point, and then all this was buried. It was literally all underground. Imagine that up until the window level there became buried with sand. So then they built a mosque above it, and that kind of squarish window that you see there,
it was a church.
That was actually the entrance to the mosque. That was the street level, and that was the door. When they eventually realized what was underneath here, and they started excavating, they converted it into a window, and the other side now is the door with stairs from the current street level. And you can see there is the minaret from the Ottoman era of the mosque. There is actually another minaret of the various festivals that happened here. Now this temple, as I said, was very important to the ancient Egyptians because this is kind of where coronations, or part of the coronation, would happen for various kings, or majority of kings. It was very important. We even see Alexander the Great becoming a fully fledged pharaoh king from this temple, and I'll show you those illustrations later in there. And you can see here there's all these pictures of various offerings being made and food being carried, etc. And there's so much more in here as we go around.
That was their books.
You can see here they're bringing all these big cows and stuff to be sacrificed as part of the festival.
No, I didn't see that. I can't read hieroglyphics.
These symbols here, this symbol that kind of looks like a little arrow in a hexagon, that is to symbolize the particular festival that the cow is going to be sacrificed for. So quite an important thing. So certain animals were only good enough for certain festivals, which is quite interesting in itself. And you can see this journey, lots and lots of animals being brought into the temple to be offered up.
I can't see animals, buddy. You can tell what the animals look like.
I see
people.
All these figures that look like they're the same person, but they're not. They're actually children of Ramses II, remembering that he had over 100 children. We come up to about 13 princes here, and then it starts going to princesses.
100 children, brother.
The one who took over from him was here, this last one. And basically each one has his name and then what his actual job was. So if you look at like the first one here, the oldest son, we have his name here at the top, and then we know that he was the leader of the actual Egyptian army, and so on and so forth. And next to it here, we actually have an image of the temple itself. So, but it's obviously, remember, everything's in 2D. So we have the two sitting figures, as we saw at the beginning, and then the two standing figures, the four standing figures, and then the two obelisks. There's one missing today, but now we still just have the one. So again, we have this entire illustration of how the temple would have looked, plus there's additions of 4 flags that obviously don't exist anymore. Really cool. And again here, huge statue carved of one single piece. If you look at the bottom here, we'll see these individuals tied up with all these words on it. These guys all represent different countries that Ramses had conquered. You see them all around. So these ones here will be representing like the Syrians and Persians and all this kind of stuff. Remembering the Egyptian Empire during the reign of Ramses was one of the largest empires at the time. And then down here you see kind of more African looking figures. This is representing the more stuff to the south. So there we go. Next to him we have his wife's name down here. And again, quite an interesting drawing here, with basically this here representing the lungs, the airway, and his name being at the top, not in a cartouche, because remember, gods don't put their names in the cartouche necessarily. So when he puts his name without the cartouche, he's saying, I am a god, and I control the air and life. So there we go. Wow. So we're now in the column section here. You can see,
everybody wants to
if you watch my Karnak video, you'll see the columns are of the same style with the open lotus flower happened. Again, we're coming back to depictions on the wall here, and it's quite interesting. We can see all sorts of stuff happening here, where they're killing the cows, slaughtering them. And this one here is quite interesting because you can see this guy here having a little sniff of the cow. That's because the meat has to be of good quality for this festival. It has to be of
wow,
it can't be a sick animal, etc. So that guy there, he's having a little sniff of the blood, making sure that it's worthy of the gods.
And somebody saw all
sacrifice.
That in here.
And this one here is really, really interesting actually. Possibly one of the first animations in the world. So we have these dancers here doing like little backflips. You can see here they're doing kind of a little backflip. Now initially I thought these were all different dancers, but actually when you look at it carefully, you have this one here, and then the movement changes slightly, and she goes back further and further, and she starts coming back on herself, and so on, and she's kind of doing like this little acrobatics. So it's actually an animation. It's just one person with a story being told of how they're doing like a backflip. Really interesting. Possibly one of the earliest animations in human history. Who knows? And then it goes on again. It shows you all the different offerings that they have there.
This thing is so sensitive.
My God, it's so hot. I am dying of this heat, literally, and I just can't sit down.